Hello, hello, hello. It is another day Halloween decor hunting. Sorry if you can hear that. It may be annoying. Also, I feel like... Hello? Darkness?
You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it.
It is quite rainy outside today. And, but you know what that means. Fall weather. And I am quite enjoying it, right now at least. And ask me again in 3 months, I probably will loathe every raindrop that falls upon my head. But right now, I am welcoming all of them.
It's raining! It's raining!
And the leaves are starting to change. I don't know if I'll get any footage of the leaves changing today, but if I do, you will see it here. I think this will be our last day going Halloween decor hunting, which is very sad, but also that means we have more things to do, like more Halloween hauls, decorating, and going to do fun adventures together this Halloween season. This morning I did go to a pumpkin patch with my friends, however it was quite rainy and we didn't stay very long, partially because the ones that we went to today, which I feel like is the case in most of the pumpkin patches here in Oregon, if you go during the week, nothing's really open, no food stalls are open. It's mainly just the store and buying pumpkins, and there's more to that, like apple cider donuts. I need an apple cider donut in my life, so we'll likely go to the pumpkin patch again together in a vlog of some kind. So before we head in and do some more Halloween decor hunting, because I'm at HomeGoods if you can't tell by that sign right there, before we go in, I wanted to mention that I will be doing a 13 Nights of Halloween. Remember when ABC Family did that? When ABC Family was ABC Family. I'm gonna do it. So what is it, starting October 19th? I will be doing a vlog or a haul or some sort of video every day up until Halloween. I thought that might be fun, and then I could challenge myself to actually create fun content and actually go out and do Halloween things, because I have a tendency to be like, oh, I'll go next week to a pumpkin patch or apple picking or whatever it might be, and then all of a sudden Halloween's over because Halloween goes by in the blink of an eye, which is very sad. Let's go do some more Halloween decor hunting today. HomeGoods is our first stop. I also need to go to Target. I did take some footage of Bullseye's playground the other day because it actually had it well stocked, so we'll go through that. Obviously we'll go through the threshold line, whatever lines are over there in the home area, and then the seasonal area. We'll be doing that today. We'll be talking about Joann's, because I did take some footage when they had their last collection release. That is very exciting, and I think the last stop might be a Marshall's and a Kohls. I think I'm going to try and hit up both of those today as well to round off our Halloween decor hunting season. Let's go and do some more Halloween decor hunting at HomeGoods. Meet you inside. Hello.
Glasses crooked?
You may be slightly crooked, but the way I had you before, you were wibble wobbling, and that wasn't gonna work. HomeGoods, let's talk about it. This was our Mecca of Mugs adventure. I'm already calling it. It was fantastic for the mugs today. Just like our Marshall's hunt last time, that was our Mecca of Mugs. HomeGoods, coming in with my heart for the mugs. Before we talk about it, you can tell that Halloween is slowly dwindling out.
There's something I'd like to show you. Something you might enjoy.
Something wrong, Mr. Ventura? Of course not. This is a lovely room of death.
Boo! Boo to. Not yet. I mean, Christmas is fine, but not now. It's not even October yet. So the first mug I encountered was this little witch hat one. It's a clear glass one, and then it's standing inside as a witch hat, and I thought it was pretty darn cute. Next off, we have this line we've seen in the past. We've seen those plates. We've seen the mugs, but I decided to film them again. There was a Hocus Pocus one and a Happy Halloween one. Then above that area, there was a more vintagey looking latte mug that said like Happy Halloween, Halloween Party, Trick or Treat I believe was another one of them. They're like half and half black, half white with different little skeleton guys at the bottom. I also found a random bowl over here, which I thought was really cute and I would have bought it, but there's only one, so I had to pass it up. Back to the mugs. There was this really cool skeleton torso one that had orange stripes on it. I also saw this mug that didn't have a typical handle. Instead of a handle, they were two bat wings. Wow, it's really raining now, huh? Found a couple of different stacked mugs. So there's 4 that had an alternating green and black mug. It said Trick or Treat, Spooky, Hocus Pocus. Oh, I thought it might have been a pack of 2 mugs, but actually it's a creamer and sugar set. But it's this really cool vintage vibe, and it has a black cat and a little spooky hat. They also had this bat silhouette, like 2 bats flying in front of a moon. Another mug they had, it said boo, and it had this filigree at the bottom, and then these 2 skeleton hands reaching up towards the boo. Other stacked mugs, one was this anatomy of a skeleton. So these mugs we have seen in the past, a stack of 4 mugs with a spiderweb on top, but I haven't seen them in a couple of years, and I know it was a very, very popular item in the past. They also had a couple skeleton ones. I think we've seen these ones this year, but just in case I forgot to include them in a prior video, here they are again. We found a witch flying on a broom, which we know our Lord and Savior Jade. She would quite enjoy. I'm actually wearing her merch today. Yeah, you can't really see it, but look at the pumpkins. I found a lot of Rae Dunn mugs this time. And this whole year, I feel like Rae Dunn has been elusive or non-existent. I don't really know which one, but I had not found much Rae Dunn, and this time I found a ton of Rae Dunn mugs. One of the ones that I found of hers was this magic potion one, and I think this could be like a really cool Halloween one potentially. Stepping away from Rae Dunn for a second, we have this skull and crossbones. One is the Eek cauldron with a spiderweb in the corner. There's also a green one that said Hocus Pocus with a spiderweb in the corner. There were a lot of little witch legs. I don't know what else to call them, but they're like little witchy legs, and they basically were all the same in terms of color on the mug. It was just the text was different for each of the legs. Also this one was the coolest one. It was a witch flying on a broom. It said Wicked Witch on it. Aside from the little witchy legs, they had a purple mug that said Put a Spell on You. They had an orange mug that said Trick or Treat, a white mug with pumpkin that said Happy Halloween, a green mug with a really cool like filigree little detail. And lastly, there was a Hocus Pocus mug. They also have that one in a plate form, which I saw again this year. They also had a side plate, which I personally liked more. It said Spooky, and it had a witch flying in a broom in front of a moon. And I think the last Rae Dunn mug that I saw was the topper ones, which I know are more difficult to find because people really like them. Some other Rae Dunn things that I saw were a really cool like oil slick, purpley, bluey, black cauldron that said treats on it, a canister that was black that said Hocus Pocus on it with bats flying across it, and I believe the last thing that I saw that was Rae Dunn was a pitcher. So another mug that I found, which I was very tempted to get, was a haunted house mug that had a ghost for the handle with little jack-o'-lantern accents. There was even a haunted house very similar to that mug that was a cookie jar. Other mugs. There was a skull that was a white iridescent design. There was one that had a topper on it with a snack coming up the side that was black. Now I believe I got all the mugs. So moving on from mugs, other items that I found was really cool salt and pepper shaker that gave me vintage-esque vibes. They have a really cool cake stand with a border of skulls. There were a couple of bakeware things. One was this peek-a-boo window of, I don't know, do you put cookies in it? It was things with planets and stars, and then it had a crystal ball in the middle that's where that window cutout was. Of course, they had various cupcake liners. Another thing I found over here, which I don't think was supposed to be over here, but I thought it was cool, and if you've seen my haul video, I think it's the same design that's on my dish towel. It's a plate version, or a little melamine? Yeah, melamine plate platter thing. The last stuff that I found in the bakeware area were 2 different molds. Whatever you want to use those molds for, I don't know. That's up to you and your imagination, I guess. They had a black and white one with these kind of goofy looking bats, but I kind of liked them. They also had one that was black. They were some ghosts in bats instead of just bats. They had a baking bowl. My words today are hard, but you see here, it's Jack Skellington. And they had a crock, a utensil crock, with little ghosts all over it. They had these little things back again. It's like a trio of mini bakeware. One's a rolling pin and 2 are little things in, like a loaf pan and stuff like that. The last things for the kitchen that I found were some sponge holders and some dish soap dispensers. Had two really cool skull ones. One had a soap thing on top and the other one was just holding the sponge. They had a black cat. They had my personal favorite one out of all my saw over here was this orange. It was clear through the orange, but then the black was matte and it had a haunted house with spooky trees and all that. And then they had just a skull with a soap dispenser. So they had quite a variety of skulls over there. Wow, it's raining a lot. Can you hear me still? Ah.
It's a little loud.
Is it lighting up? Bath stuff. Bath towels. Didn't find any new ones in terms of like hand towels and stuff like that. However, I did see some really, really cool shower curtains that I have not seen so far this year. They had 4 different ones, I believe. One was a really cute pinky pastel color with different Halloween emblems, like a pumpkin, witch boots, stuff like that. The next one was like a cafe type thing. It was kind of hard to tell because it was kind of small, but it reminded me of like a little coffee place, you know? One was gray with jack-o'-lanterns all over it, and then the other one were these damask print, so to speak, with skulls and little blue leaves. Glad there's a rain let up, because man, oh man, that was quite obnoxious, and I hope that you heard everything I said and it wasn't too crazy, because yeah, you guys are right by the windshield, so that's pretty loud. Before I talk about the pillows and throw blankets, I forgot about these other 2 things. There were a couple of snow globes. One was a ghost, and then inside the globe was a black cat, and then the ghost was on its tail. I was kind of confused about that, but I thought it was really cute. It had black glitter in it. The other one that I saw was this witch, and then it was a cauldron with skulls and pumpkins coming out of the cauldron, and then it had 2 little witchy hands. They had a salsa dish with a ghost in the middle with these little ghosts along the side, and then the only other notable thing I saw over there was this really interesting welcome to our haunted house sign with a vintagey looking bat on it, and that one was $29.99. Now, to the last area, which is throw blankets and throw pillows. One pillow that I saw was this candy corn one with the tassels on it. They had a blanket, I believe, that had the same thing on it last year. There's this really cool haunted house that said haunted house, enter at your own risk. They had an adorable trick-or-treat pillow with a witch, jack-o'-lantern head guy and skeleton, a palmistry looking one with a snake in the middle, a Halloween banner across the top with a cat, a skeleton, and a jack-o'-lantern. They had a very soft pillow with bats on it, and then this interesting black and white alternating stripe pillow with skulls on it. Now onto the throw blankets. But I did find a Ray done with mummies on it. There was an orange one with witches and moons and spiderwebs. This was my personal favorite, were little things hanging out to dry, like a skeleton outfit, a witch outfit. I just thought that one was really cute. They had this really fluffy skull one that was white and black, and I believe that's all the ones I saw at my store. And that rounds out our trip to HomeGoods. And it's finally done raining, so that's wonderful. Our next stop will be Kohls. Before we go to Kohls, I might as well jabber on about Joann, since I haven't updated you on what I found at Joann's yet. So I went to Joann's on September 6th. First up, I saw some mugs, which you know how I feel about mugs. I love them. They had the same style of mug, so they had this like hammered look, but they had different things on them. One was this family's little baddie, one was Hocus Pocus, I Need This to Focus, one was This Witch Brews Coffee, except for early for Halloween. Those are the ones I had at my store. The other ones were sold out, or maybe they didn't arrive, I don't know. I didn't see them, but they had more online, which maybe you can peruse and see if they're still there. So in the area with the party stuff, such as tablecloths, paper towel, paper plates, paper napkins, etc. They had some really cute tablecloths. One was black with orange cat, a bat, a ghost, a witch, etc. The other one was a more spooky looking spider web. This was my favorite line that they've come out with in terms of napkins.
Great work!
They were an off-white color. One was pick your poison with a spider web and a spider. One was little branchies with bats and spider webs on it. One was bats at Happy Halloween. And then they had plates that very much mimic the same thing of the napkins. I love them. They're so cool. Kind of going with that theme, they actually had a tray, a wooden tray that had the branchies with a spiderweb in between the branches with bats. They also had this really cool tray that was more elongated with handles that said Happy Halloween with a spooky little jack-o'-lantern. They had bats flying up that you could put on your wall. I think they had like a blue accent on the bellies of the bats. They had a really cool mirror that was iron feeling. I don't think it was actually iron, but it felt very similar to iron, and it had really cool filigree at the top of it. In terms of plates that I found, like the plastic ones, they had stacked pumpkins that were black with little orange faces. They had a spider web one with a spider sitting in the middle of it. They had a candy bowl that said trick or treat on it. They had another candy bowl that had jack-o'-lanterns all over it, that same kind of creepy looking jack-o'-lantern, some spider webs. I think that's all I filmed actually in there. It's always kind of awkward filming in Joann's, because at this one in particular, you're kind of by the entrance is where they put seasonal stuff, and there's always someone waiting there to make sure people don't steal things. So I think I just got in and got out and filmed what was new compared to the last time we went to Joann's. Okay, so we went over HomeGoods, we went over Joann's. Now let's go somewhere new instead of just hearing me chat away. Let's go to Kohls and see if they still have their Halloween stuff, because online it really seemed like that ghost mug they put out was the hot item this year. So I am curious to see if it is still there or not. So let's head over to Kohls. Ready? And let's go! We made it to Kohls and Target. If I seem awkward, it's because Target is rather busy right now. I mean, it is like 5 o'clock on a weekday, so people are, you know, stopping by when they get off work. And then there's just me vlogging with you guys in my car. It's also super hot now outside, which is nice, but it's not for when you sit in your car. So if I get a little glistening, that's me sweating, because I am hot.
Just a little warm.
Let's go over Kohls first, since that was the top before this one. Yeah, I definitely missed it all.
A wizard is never late. Cold. Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
They had a little area in the front, which I didn't get much footage of, so sorry. But because it was by the cashiers, I was worried someone might say something about me filming. So I just kind of grabbed a little bit of footage and headed to the back to see if maybe there was some straggling things back there. There wasn't. It was all Christmas. Christmas everywhere.
I'll blow my nose at you!
So in the front, there were some pillows, which I thought were very cute. I really liked the brooms. They had another pillow that said Happy Halloween. I feel like I'm missing one, but I'll show it here. And then they had they had both of their bath mats. So one is little dancing skeletons, and then one is a jack-o'-lantern. And that was basically Kohls. I missed it. They came and went so fast for Halloween, so it is what it is. Target, on the other hand, I did a good job, I think, of timing everything. Let's be on Bullseye's playground then, shall we? So, on September 14th, I saw a variety of little canisters over in Bullseye's playground. They brought back the little gumball machine, but instead, this year, it's a pumpkin and it's orange. They had a little ghost cloche. They had a really cute haunted house, little cylinder, and they had some pumpkins. Some had spiderweb, some were just little pumpkins. One was white with stripes, one was just this classic orange with some stars on it, and then they had I think a cat. Then in like the kids area below the playground, they had some really cute sippy cups. One was a pumpkin that said little pumpkin, one was a ghost that said booyah, one was a little witch hat that said wickedly cute, and I believe that was only the 3 that they had. And they had these baskets, which were like the jelly shoes back in the 90s, which were so cool. One was purple and it had a cat face on it, one was black with a bat, and then one was orange with a jack-o'-lantern. Those are $5 each. I think you could do so many cool things with those if you use your imagination. They did have some mugs back there, which I was surprised by, since, I don't know, for some reason I don't really feel like they put mugs by Bullseye's playground very often. So one was a cauldron that said magic potion on it, and then one was a jack-o'-lantern. And I was very tempted to get a jack-o'-lantern, but I resisted the urge. They had these weird flasks. I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was odd. They're coffin shaped, which I like, but also, why are there flasks? Target. It's odd. It's a little odd. Those are $3. They had skeleton spatula hand things. They had these cute little wooden plasticky figures. They had a little witch. They had, I can't remember what other ones, but they were really cute, and I feel like you could do a lot of little fun things with them. If you have an advent calendar, I feel like those would be the perfect size for an advent calendar. Then they had these little window, or I guess you put them in the bathroom. One was a ghost and one was a pumpkin and one was a spider. So moving on, they had these really, I'm gonna say cute again, but they were. They had these little felted little guys, and one was, I think, like a bat. One was a Frankenstein cat, which I really liked. And last, a crow, I believe. Then they had a botanical line, which I was surprised to see, but very happy to see because that's been a very popular theme. So I'm glad that they made a little Bullseye's Playground version of them. They had some bugs that were just like things that you could decorate on like a mantle or a shelf or something. They had some moss pumpkins and moss mushrooms. They had this little stained glass skull with ferns around it. I think there's another one, but I never saw it. I only saw the skulls with the ferns. Then they had these cool bottles. I don't think I got good footage of, but one of them has like an apothecary look to it, and that one is the kind of milk glass looking one, and then they have a red one. They had some little succulents. One was in a coffin, one was in a little skull, one was in a snake. And they had these kind of weird candelabras with skulls. I don't know how I feel about them. And they had two different trays. One was green that had a very Art Deco look to it, and then one was maroon with a butterfly. Now moving into the Threshold brand is over there. I don't know. But the cool line that normally they come out with every year. I was slightly disappointed this year only because it is just so similar to prior years. I mean, it works great if you're just trying to build a collection of the same items. However, if you're trying to look for really new, unique things, that's not it. Starting out, we're going to start with the little skull guy. I think it's a planter. It's interesting. I don't hate it. They had these little bug pillows. They had some floral arrangements. They had a really cool amber pumpkin, which I thought about getting. My brain's confused this year on what I want to do for decorating. They had a very good smelling pumpkin candle. They brought back this ghost in the garden pillow, and then they had this one, which I feel like is kind of subtle in terms of Halloween because of little moths and stuff on it, but it works. I think that'd be a great all year round pillow. And they had this orange striped pillow with like a little bit of a fringe look to it. And then the last one I saw was this pumpkin one with a spider on it, which I thought was quite unique and had a little bit of a scary twist with a spider. Had a punch bowl with a ladle that was pumpkin shaped. They also had glasses that matched it. It wasn't very high quality, it was just plastic. Then they had a spider bowl, which was very heavy. I think that one was made of iron. They had a cheese board that was a coffin shaped, and I kind of liked how it didn't have any words on it. It just was what it was, just a wooden coffin. I actually saw the cauldron in person. I had not seen that giant cauldron before, and I kind of regret not buying it, but it's fine. It's very, very nice. If you want a good quality cauldron that looks authentic, buy that one, please. They had really cool cauldron candles. They had this plate. I don't know if you can tell by my hand next to it. It was giant. This platter says just a bite with a little bat, and then that bowl, it says boo. I tried picking up one hand. I couldn't do it. I was too afraid I was going to drop it. Of course, we have to talk about the haunted house. If I didn't buy the haunted house, I think from 2 years ago, I would have bought that haunted house so fast. It lights up very sparkly and nice.
Steve, there's our dream house.
I didn't really catch any of the plates that they had. All I found there was the cat. They had some cute napkins. One had a jack-o'-lantern, one with a ghost that said feeling spirited, and then one that was the bat thing again that said just a bite. And then they had it's a plaid one. Then they had these really unique snake candles and candelabra. I actually liked that they had a little spike in the middle of their mouth so that when you put the candle in, it stays. They seem like very nice quality. So if you like snakes, if you're Slytherin or whatever it might be, I would recommend getting it. Last, I believe I filmed is this Halloween table runner that has a cute little jack-o'-lantern on it. So that was Threshold as well as Bullseye's Playground. Let's head over to the seasonal area, which is where we went today. Today's the 27th in case you're wondering what the date was. Starting off with, I guess, the kids area. They had these really cute pillows that had trick-or-treaters all over them. I like the vampire guy. He was pretty sweet. And then they had the pumpkin that looks like the pumpkin that's on the mug. Then I also saw some blow molds. They had this ghost who had a bow tie and it says boo underneath him with a little spider. And then next to it, I saw a pumpkin, a trio of pumpkins in the same color palette. Had some felted ghosts and pumpkins, and then they had a Frankenstein. And they had this really cool wood block thing that you could twist around to create different monsters or different trick-or-treaters, whatever your designs you don't want to come up with. They had some really cute party balloons. I really liked the jack-o'-lanterns, but they also had some skeleton versions of those. They had some neon signs with pumpkins. They had a cutting board. This one was kind of similar to the one in Special, just a little bit different. It's one said RIP and it was black. They had a really cool cookie jar that had a skull on top that said trick or treat. Looked kind of like an urn. And then they had some party games that I thought was pretty fun. They had a witch hat toss, had mummy pins so you can do some bowling. And I think there was a prize punch party game. I don't know what that is, but it's something. This was a random thing I saw over there. It was a kind of fall but boho but skeleton wreath, which I thought was kind of cool. Or moving back into the decor. So they had, of course, their bottle brush trees. I feel like they come up with a version of them every year. They had two different houses, which I think they're made out of paper, quite frankly, because they do seem kind of easy to squish, but they're really cool. One was a really cozy cottage, and then one was a little more spooky haunted house. I don't really know why they were cutouts in the back, but you tell me. And they had, I don't know what these were, they lit up, they color changed, which I was curious by, but I don't really know what that means. But they had a pumpkin one and a cat one. Then they had this random ghost with little tassely little fringes at the bottom. It was very cute. I wanted to give him a hug. There was some animatronics, of course, because Target always comes out with some animatronic things. One was some skeletons on a seesaw, one was a skeleton on a bike. They're just, you know, having some nice outdoor activities.
Fresh air. The scent of pine.
They had a dog bust thing, I guess not a bust, but another animatronic. They had some lanterns. There were some random baby blue pumpkins, which again, I don't really know where that color palette came from because there's really nothing else that goes with that color palette. And then you'll see me struggle here. I was trying to put the topper back on, but trying to look through my phone while doing it really didn't really help. They had a really cool trick-or-treat traffic light, and I don't remember if I've seen it before. They had a variety of pumpkins, any kind of pumpkin you could think of. Stuffed pumpkins, plastic pumpkins, doorbell pumpkins, wreath pumpkins, anything and everything, baby. They had some interesting skeleton things. One looked kind of like a bust. I don't know if it was an animatronic or not. They also had a skull crystal ball as well as a pumpkin crystal ball, which you'll see coming up here. They had this interesting platter, and they had a pillow with a witch flying on a broom. I don't know where this came from. I don't know if it was in the Bullseye playground section, ended up back there. They had this really interesting witch with a cauldron and ghosts flying around it, and I liked how it didn't make noise. It just was lights. They had a lot of witch cutouts too, which I thought was cool and interesting. They had this projector that had a witch on it. I tried showing it, but it was kind of hard with the reflections on it, to be frank. And then they had a random little tricycle bike with a crow on it. It was the last blow mold that I saw was this little black cat, and that one unfortunately makes noise, and I didn't realize it, so I ran away. I ran off. They had a very small neon line, and I don't really understand it. I feel like that would have probably done better in the 90s, but hey, the 90s are back. Yeah, they had neon pumpkins, neon skeletons, neon dogs, neon tombstones, anything you could think of. They got it neon. They, of course, had a bajillion different jack-o'-lanterns with different faces and expressions, but they've had these for, I think, a while now. I think they just come back every year. That sometimes they just add one or two different faces and then take away one or two different faces, it seems like. They had the giant skeleton there. I saw it. That's also a giant jack-o'-lantern, headless horseman type guy. They were cool. I'm glad that they had little setups of them. I didn't press the skeleton though, because I was a little too scared, but I did press the jack-o'-lantern guy, so you'll see him.
Happy Halloween, my little ghoul.
He has a fun voice. His hands light up. I didn't really notice if his face lit up, but his hands lit up. I was really impressed by him. Good job, Target. That one was $180. They also had some other skeleton varieties. They had one that was like trapped, like Hocus Pocus style.
Hey, Hollywood! Help us out here.
They had a jack-o'-lantern skeleton. They had a bronze skeleton, which was like, yo, dude, you're definitely high maintenance. Then I found this random stuffed animal of a skeleton, and I said, you're coming home with me, because you're adorable and you got little flimsy feet. And then here's some animatronics, not animatronics, but like blow up so you can put it in your front yard. I really liked the werewolf. He was fun. Little fun, goofy guy. I think getting to the end here. Don't worry, folks. They had Squishmallow trick-or-treat bags. They were $20 each. Again, we had the bat and the pumpkin. We had the owl. Sorry if I don't know their names. I'm not that versed with Squishmallows. I just see one and I want to hug it. They had a little cute little monster. And the last one that I saw was a fox mummy. So if your kids like Squishmallows and you're gonna go trick-or-treating this year, that's a good combo. If you were missing out on those planters from the last couple of years, they brought back the jack-o'-lantern, they brought back the cauldron with the bats flying up it. Then I filmed some of the food, like the seasonal food, because I thought it might be interesting, because I feel like people don't normally mention it for some reason in Halloween Decor Hunting videos. Sure, it's not decor, but I always feel like Target puts out some really cool and fun snacks. Like Trader Joe's style, you know what I mean? So they came out with some different popcorns. One was called Mummy Munch. So if you like kettle corn and white chocolate, that's your friend. We got Monster Drizzle. Then they had Halloween Graveyard Crunch and then milk chocolate dipped cookies that were Halloween themed. I got the Halloween Graveyard Crunch, so I'll let you know how that is. They had a couple of different cookie houses or gingerbread houses, whatever you want to call them. They had a witch tower. They had cookies that said Fright Night, so if you don't want to worry about building a house, you don't have to. They have options. There was a town scare haunted village, which I did last year with my friend Marlene, and it was fun. We had a monster clubhouse. We got a illuminated Dracula castle, which was pretty cool. And then I think last one was Haunted Manor. Oh, then they had like a standard pre-built haunted house, which is nice. So if you don't like building haunted houses, they got a pre-built one. Just make sure you double check to make sure it's not crushed. This was new this year. I don't remember them ever coming out with their own line of candy, and they were very unique. No one's made flavors that they have, and I admittedly bought one bag already, and it was very good. It was the gumball one that is sour apple and sour blue raspberry. They're not sour like Warheads. If you're a 90s kid, raise your hand. Nothing is as sour as the 90s sour was, but maybe that's a good reason for it.
Mind-boggling mysteries.
They had a couple of different bags of candy. One was this white chocolate cotton candy flavored barred with a cute skull. I really liked the bags and how that they designed them. One was white chocolate birthday cake flavored candy bars. One was a witch with popping candy that was in milk chocolate. One was these filled gumballs, which aren't the ones I got. They're different. They have different flavors like watermelon, I believe. Then they have caramel milk chocolate. One's nougat in chocolate. One's caramel nougat peanut in milk chocolate. Yeah, I mean, they sound good. I just don't know why that one was like $10 for not that many candy pieces, but maybe they taste delicious. And then they had a couple of different fruit ones. So one was that gumball one I mentioned. Then they had some filled candy straws with little vampire on them. They have cherry and blue raspberry cotton candy, and I love blue raspberry. The last thing that I got was footage of little kitty toys, because if you don't know, I have two cats named Edgar and Olaf, and they're orange cats, so they're perfect for Halloween. They had some really cute little catnip toys. They didn't really have that many costumes, because if you ever tried putting a costume on a cat, it doesn't quite work. They had trick-or-treat pail with a cat, jack-o'-lantern face. They had a vampire bat coming out of a cauldron. They had this weird little, looks like a Swiffer, if I'm going to be honest. And then my favorite was a vampire, because I like vampires. Then they had two costumes that I saw. One was a cat with like a sunflower over its head, and my god, that picture they got of that cat is iconic because that cat looks so happy. And then they also had some really glittery bat wings. That was our day today, Halloween decor hunting. I may or may not go out and attach more to the end of this, but I think I'm pretty good on the Halloween decor hunting. This year wasn't really as good of a year in my opinion of finding things that were new and unique. How do you guys feel about this year's Halloween decor hunting? I saw some of the comments, and a lot of you are in agreement with me that this year just kind of was a miss. It really wasn't as cool as in prior years. I do think I got lucky with the mugs that I found. It seemed like a lot more of you guys are having not so good luck finding mugs, which I hope that's changed. Let me know if that's changed for you, and maybe where you live it was slow or got picked over, but then they were able to fulfill them again or refill them again at your store. So let me know if you're on the search for mugs and if you got a little more luck than the last time we talked in my prior Halloween decor hunting video. I hope you guys are having an awesome September. It's probably the very beginning of October by the time I get this video out, and be on the lookout for my 13 days of Halloween, not trademark copying ABC Family or whatever. I'm gonna go. If you have any ideas for the 13 days of Halloween festivities, be my guest. Come up with ideas. sometimes your girl needs help with thinking of things to do. So I'll see you later. I hope you guys are having an awesome yet spooky week. And I'll see you in my next video. Happy haunting!